This is Local Biz Now. This is a segment of our program we call Coach's Corner, and there is nobody better to do this than Wayne Beidelman. So today we do have to have a supplemental coach, and that is Hilary Porta. Hilary has brought something in that I am looking forward to listening to. And I'm also going to bring David Bradley in with Statesville Chamber. David, how are you, my friend?
I am lovely, thank you.
So, David, please, I need all the help I can get, so feel free to join in on this Coach's Corner as well.
Absolutely.
Hilary, it's all yours. Take it away.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Today, I was giving some thought about really, some of the things that, most people ask me about coaching and, whenever to start a business and things of that nature. So one of the major things that I do is I talk about intentionality. There's that word again, Joe. Intentionality.
I hope I can remember that word.
Intentionality. And really being provocative and being provocatively disruptive in the marketplace. And those are something that's very, very important to do, especially as a small business owner and of course, positioning yourself in the marketplace from a large corporation as well. I tell my clients all the time that you've got to be intentional. Be where you are all the time, because that's so true. So many of us are really, truly, we're time-starved, soul-famished, chasing after our dreams. I mean, it takes a lot to really to do it and do it well in our world. But so many times we get blindsided and, unintentionally. Key word there. I hope you're getting the trend here. Intentionality, unintentionally, and I've named that the whole hamster wheel effect. If you've ever seen a hamster, you get on that. He gets on his wheel. He's like so excited. He's got his little beady eyes. He's like really, just jumping all over it. He gets on this wheel and he's got his little tiny legs. He's running as fast as he can. And he's just like so excited. And he goes and goes and goes, and then boom! All of a sudden he hits the ground. And he stands up and he's got, oh my God, what happened there? I mean, how many of us have felt that?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, we do. We feel that all the time. And that's why it's so critical that we want to mitigate that hamster wheel effect. Truly wanting to be cognizant of the time here today. I mean, I could talk all day long about infrastructure, talent management, importance of your doing your due diligence, and, so that we can have about sustainability. But truly, in the interest of time, I'm going to give you 3 bullet points. Oh, I know. This is just
she
for
loves
you.
me, I tell you. She loves me.
I do. I absolutely love you. So, for your first bullet point, Joe.
This is hurting her, David, that she has to use bullet points.
I appreciate the bullet points.
That's what I try to tell her. Smart people don't like bullet points, but a guy like me, I need bullet points.
And, I want you to be intentional about using these bullet points.
There you go.
I love it.
There you go.
You know what? I just love you. You have made my day. You've been intentional about that. Oh my gosh! Well, it's true. Really talking intentionally. I go back to the whole granny theory. And coming from the South, we use the term granny. Some people use grandmother. Mimi, Nana. Whatever you have it. But they have a lot of wisdom. They always want to know the who, what, when, where, and how. So many times in business, people overlook those very simple steps. And so the first bullet point is knowing where you are. And we're going to talk about that. It's called a SWOT. How many of you have ever heard of the SWOT analysis?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm so glad you did, because SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses,
opportunities,
and... Uh-oh, Joe. I know what the T is about. I'm almost have to ring the bell on this one. I'm ringing the bell.
My brain went frozen because I was looking at David. I was going to say, go ahead and test him. Go ahead and test
him.
Yeah, threats.
But then she turned on me and pointed her finger at me.
We have to torture
Weaknesses,
you. T is for
threats.
torture. And threats. But truly, again, let me go over that. What it is, a SWOT analysis is one of the things that you do. Both I recommend professionally, but I also recommend it personally, because one of the things that we want to do in our practice is that we want to marry and do work-life balance. We want to make sure that you are able to realize your dreams, but also build it into where you can live and truly live as intentionally as you can. So,
and I'll tell you something. In that case, for me, what I tell people all the time is the biggest thing you want to know is what your strengths are, so you can work on them more, and your weaknesses, so you can find a way to avoid doing that. Don't try and make yourself better in these weak areas because you're going to burn a lot of time that we don't have.
You learned so well from our last meeting. I'm so proud of you because that's exactly what I was preaching.
Okay, now what you should say in this radio show is
Exactly, Joe. You are so dead on. God, you are so good. This is true. But that's really truly where the rubber meets the road. You've got to identify your strengths, okay? I mean, those, and like Joe said, those are the easiest ones to identify, but really taking a look at your weaknesses is very important too. The majority of the people, however, they do, like Joe said, because I preached it to them last month, they have a real fixation on their weaknesses. They'll say, okay, I want to identify them. But then what happens is they spend such an inordinate amount of time focused on their weaknesses that they forget their strengths and then they lose their passion. And so what happens then is that, it just becomes banjaxed altogether and turns sideways. So I do want you to identify your weaknesses, absolutely, okay? But not to sit there and create a holistic way to fix them. Continue on with your strengths so you can soar on that but each of them play a very significant role but they do need to be identified.
I'm getting a few texts and people are asking me who is this that's talking, so let me that have just joined us. So let me be clear. Hilary Porta, she is a coach and consultant for many, many executives and business people all over the world, quite frankly.
We've become global.
Also, Dave Bradley with Statesville Chamber is here as well.
Absolutely.
We're all talking about Hilary's stuff. So I want to make sure people heard that because they were expecting Wayne's voice and they hear this woman. So go right ahead.
I'm the Wayne, the girl version of Wayne today. There we go. One of the things that whenever I go into an organization, when we talk about the SWOT analysis is, I'll ask them immediately. I'll say, okay, Joe, give me your three, top three threats. And they'll look at you, like a deer in the headlights, but you're like, you should be able to rattle these off, honestly, like your children's names. That's how intimate you need to be with your SWOT analysis. This is not just a one-time thing that you do. This is something that you do continuously because you need to reevaluate, okay, because that's what's going to be so important. So know your strengths. Know your weaknesses. Look at your opportunities. Sometimes it really helps to get a bunch of advisors in a room, in a war room, as I call it, and or a coach that really helps you identify, where you are and all this, and kind of the as is versus the future, and where you need to be. So that's one of the things that I want you to do is you've got to know what you need to know so that you can grow. Okay, so keep in mind all that. The next thing that you have to know.
Second bullet point.
No, this is before the second bullet point. This kind of goes along with the SWOT, and you'll remember this very intimately because this is just a source of pain for your guys. But we talked about value propositions.
Yep.
The VPs. We've got all these acronyms, SWOT, SOWT, VP for the value proposition. You've got to understand that a value proposition, it'll differentiate you. It's a very succinct set of words that will differentiate you, but you have to know your value, what you bring to your customer, and that's very, very important. So again, you don't want to jump to letter J in the alphabet, right? You want to actually, begin as you intend to go. You need to get intentional.
Yeah, and I think, and what I appreciate that with a value proposition is that so many of us try to be something to everybody. And when you try to be that something to everybody, you lose your effectiveness to be anything to anyone.
And I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. And that's one of the things that, doing that exercise of the value proposition is so valuable because so many times other organizations, they talk about your KPIs. The KPIs truly are key performance indicators. Those are your measurable goals. How is it functioning? Just like when you go to the doctor, they take your blood pressure, they do your vitals and things like that. So that's one of the things that you need to do. So for your corporation, bullet point number 2. Y'all ready for this?
Number 2.
You got to think 3 moves ahead, okay? Because knowing where you want to be and where you got to go is going to greatly increase your chance of a success, and you've got to understand your landscape. Because if your goals aren't strategized around execution, guess what? It's just not going to happen at all.
I guarantee your competition is.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. Let's move on to number 3, just in the sake of time. We've got number 3 truly is, it's an old saying, and everyone knows it, but it's carpe diem. You know, it is perfect. It sees the day, and
that goes to your intentionality.
There we go. It does. It's not a buzzword. It's truly not. It's not just a phrase of this decade. It's you are the one that's going to orchestrate your life. You're the one that's going to create your business. You've got to throw yourself into the path, though, which is a huge differentiator. Is opportunities. They're just not going to come and say, "Oh, hey, I'm going to come to you." No, you have to make it happen. You've got to do it.
And you do that by ignoring the fear.
Absolutely. And that goes back to Sean, you know. Absolutely.
You didn't mean absolutely. What you meant was exactly,
Joe. You are so you are my hero and you are my rock star. I want to preach for just a second, truly, because we wanted to talk about again, the 3 key points to that, but at the same time, what I want y'all mostly to walk away with knowing that, look, I know time is a commodity. We're not living as intentionally as we can, professionally and personally. What's going to happen is you're going to forget about the very things that are important for you, and in front of you too. You may achieve a certain level of success, but if you don't architect a purposeful life, what's that really going to matter? Because you're going to leave behind 1,000 broken and missed things because you've lived unintentionally, and that's one of the things that I do not want to let happen.
Great.
So
thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
You've listened to Coach's Corner. This is Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone, and I'm here with Hilary Porta. Thank you, Hilary. I do appreciate that very much.